The final speaker on my list is Mr. Flinterman. Mr. Flinterman, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Even at this late stage in our constructive dialogue, I would like to welcome most warmly the Irish delegation. I would like to raise a few follow-up questions on the very important issue of abortion. And let me first of all state that I shared very much the concerns which were expressed by my colleagues, Mr. Chani and Mr. Iwasawa, about the reference to the delegation by the delegation to Article 25. Yes, I think there is no disagreement that a full and free discussion is crucial in any society, and that is the cornerstone of any democratic and free society, as reflected also in our general comment number 34, in which our former Irish member played such an important role, Michael O'Flaherty. But yet, the outcome of such a discussion, even if it is full and free and informed, the outcome of such a discussion in the form of a parliamentary majority decision can never be used as an argument to legitimize a violation of substantive rights of the Covenant. And as has been said, such an argument would indeed undermine the essence of the human rights framework, both domestically and internationally. But I presume and trust in this respect that on this point there is no disagreement between the delegation and our committee. But let's start from the point that indeed we have a full agreement that a free and full discussion on issues such as abortion is important. My first question then would be, have the Irish people ever been given the opportunity to vote on an amendment to Article 40, paragraph 3, sub 3 of the Constitution in order to make the restriction on the prohibition of abortion less restrictive? And secondly, what importance is the state party, is Ireland giving to the opinion polls? And we have information before us on recent opinion polls in Ireland, which show that 70%, a large majority of the Irish people, support abortion in cases of fetal anomaly, in cases of risk to a woman's health, and in cases where pregnancy results from rape, child abuse. But there is not a majority for abortion in cases where it is the woman's, where it concerns the right of a woman to choose in other circumstances. What importance does the delegation attach to such opinion polls? And then third, on this particular issue, it struck me that the delegation in its responses so far, and I would like to express my appreciation for the responses so far, was somewhat limited in its in the analysis of the human rights dimensions of abortion, because it presented the issue of abortion, at least the human rights dimension of the issue of abortion, as a balancing between the right to life of the unborn child and the right to life of the mother. And I do think that such an analysis of the human rights dimensions of abortion does not do either justice to the realities in which women find themselves, but neither to the more nuanced assessment of the human rights dimensions of the abortion issue by the Human Rights Committee, which first and foremost stresses the right to life and health of the mother, but secondly, which stresses also the importance of Article 7 of our covenant in respect of the issue of abortion. And as you know, Article 7 contains the obligation of states parties not to subject anyone to cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment. And yet, the present situation in Ireland is that that a woman who is seeking abortion in a situation where her health is at risk, in a situation where her pregnancy is the result of a crime such as incest or rape, in a situation where there is where she is carrying a baby with a fetal anomaly, that she is facing 14 years of imprisonment if she would seek abortion. And my question to the delegation would be, is that compatible with the obligations of the state party under Article 7 of the Covenant? And thirdly, the Human Rights Committee is also addressing the issue of abortion from the perspective of that crucial central article in every human rights instrument, and that is the article relating to the prohibition of discrimination. Yet, the present situation in Ireland is that women are not allowed to seek abortion, only in limited circumstances in Ireland itself, but yet they are allowed to travel abroad to seek abortion outside the Republic of Ireland. And my first impression of that is that in itself is a discrimination of women. But I would like to hear from the delegation whether it thinks, whether it's her opinion that this particular situation is indeed compatible with the obligations of Ireland under Article 2 and 3 of the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Those were my questions, follow-up questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Flinterman. I briefly, too, have a couple of follow-up questions, factual. One is almost the same as yours, relating to the ability, apparently, of women to go abroad to seek abortions, whether there isn't a discrimination element there, not so much in terms of gender, but in terms of social status and property. Clearly, those with the resources can do it, those without the resources cannot do it. I'd like to know if that is a dimension of the thinking of the state party, and if so, to what extent.